Hello and welcome to August 1823 Stitchers. That's Sally.
And that's Angie.
And Jack's sleeping down here somewhere.
Yes, behind us.
Yes, and today is January 20th, Inauguration Day, 2025, and we are doing Flosstube episode 28. We'd like to welcome all our returning subscribers, and if you have not subscribed, please do so and hit the bell so that you can know when our Flosstubes come up. We generally tape twice a month, and this is our second time in January, so you won't probably see us until February.
Right, but at least we've fulfilled the first part of our goals.
Yes, we have done that.
Yes.
I've been healthy enough that we can actually do 2 Flosstubes this month.
Yes.
So, what have I forgotten, Sally?
Do you want to give the rundown of what we're going to cover?
Okay, yeah, we usually start with our previous finishes. Sally has some FFOs. Sally has an FO.
No, Sally doesn't.
FO.
No, I don't have an FO.
We don't have any FOs. Do you have a new start? I don't.
No, but I'm gonna have a new start.
Yeah, I have plans for a new start,
yes.
But no new starts right now.
No.
And we have some WIPs to show you.
Yes, and then we're also gonna cover up. We've got needles up coming.
Yeah, we got
and a book review.
Several needles up.
Yes.
Because it's WIP Parade season.
Then we've got haul and plans.
And yeah, we said a book review. I only have a little piece of haul.
Yeah, I only have a little piece of haul, which is going to be my new start today.
Not going to be my new start, but I got a new home.
No, but you had your new start, and I didn't because I don't have that kind of stitching.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that's about what we're going to cover today. So I'd suggest we get started. The first thing is a previous finish.
Right. You want to talk about your sweatshirt though?
Oh, first of all, I have to point out that I'm wearing my West Virginia University sweatshirt only because all these college football fans keep showing their Ohio State sweatshirts and all that other stuff. And even though West Virginia is not still playing in any of the tournaments, I just want to proudly show where I am from.
Right. And
plus, this is my warmest shirt, and it's going to be 7 degrees tonight.
Yes, it's going to be
South Carolina, which
cold,
is where we live.
So I wore my snow earrings, and today I'm wearing my mother's engagement ring.
I have to walk my dog 6 times a day. I kid you not, that is not an exaggeration.
It's not.
He has a 3-hour bladder. So I walk him 6 times a day, and first thing in the morning and last thing at night, midnight normally. It is very cold to walk him,
especially with the wind blowing.
And in this temperature and the wind blowing,
I think that's what the wind chill's going to be.
Popsicle.
Right? Yes, there we go.
So, and that took a hard time to
thaw out,
warm up. So, Jack and I both get under the electric throw that I got for Christmas from a very good friend, and we both appreciate it very much. Okay, so previous finishes. Because I'm in the middle of a sports season that I don't watch any of the sports because women's volleyball's over. Curling, this season is very boring. It just looks like everybody's bowling for the gutter to me. So I got out of curling, and the men's volleyball, all they do is serve, spike, point over. No rallies, 5 sets in 45 minutes, done deal. And there's no finesse. I can't deal with just dealing with strength only, which is basically all they're doing is hitting it as hard as they can. I can't do that. So that meant I was watching a lot of WIP parades, which I don't normally do. But because I watched a lot of WIP parades, I saw a lot of projects I wanted to start. So I had to refer to my Stitcher's Commandments. Now I developed these Stitcher's Commandments year before last. And I wrote them in the language of the 10 Commandments. Now I only gave myself 2 commandments because that's about all I can handle. But basically, they're written in Old King James language. I wrote the words, Sally charted them, And my friend Candy ghost stitched it, and she even came up with a way to make it look like a tombstone or a monument.
Or a
Well,
tablet.
not tombstone, tablet, not tombstone.
That was hard to graph too, the way she drawn it out.
She did a really good job of ghost stitching it. And so I refer to these commandments, especially during WIP Parade season this past month. And I can't read backwards because that's how they are on our, you see them regular way, but we see them backwards on the camera.
Well, I can read them for you.
Oh, good.
So, number 1, thou shalt not starteth a new project lest thou finish an old one. Number 2, finally, Stitchers, whenever thou hast fully finished a project, and whenever thou hast given it as a gift, or displayeth it, yet not storeth it away until thine heirs have discovered it, then thou mayest purchase a new project. And those THs are hard to pronounce.
Yes, Old King James. You have to add all the F's. I'm an English major, so, you know, I enjoyed coming up with the Old King James language.
And the vowels, too.
And, yeah, these and thous and all that stuff. But basically, I need to finish one before I start a new one, pretty much. And also, I can't buy one if I've just stored one away and not used it for anything. I don't believe in under-the-bed boxes. It's either going to be displayed at the library that we Stitchers have an exhibit of, or it's going to be given as a gift, or it's going to be hanging on my wall, but it will not be stored away somewhere to die a death until I die and people discover it under the bed, because then you know it's where it's going to go. My family, trash. If my friends get there before me, they might keep it, but they might even put it in the trash. I don't know.
Goodwill.
But
Goodwill.
anyway, yeah,
Or
Habitat or one of those would get it. Anyway, I just don't believe in doing a project if you don't have a purpose to do it. No purpose, don't buy it. So, with that in mind, I was able to withstand all but one. So you'll see that in my haul.
Okay. All right. So I have 2 FFOs. Please pardon the loose threads. I have not woven them in or snipped them because I tend to crochet. When I add a new thread, I tend to crochet it in so I don't have to go back and weave it in. But I use the granny square yarn that makes a granny square, and you don't have to change colors. And I did 15 by, I don't know what it did, but I found out, it says on the label you can make 14 of these squares, but I got 15 out of every skein. So I did 3, and then I put black in it. And then I did a border. I had some leftover, and I did, it's granny squares. And then the black, and then I did a little scallop around it. So it's a nice size lap throw, and it's going to be warm, and I'm going to need it because, as Angie said, it's going to be cold, and I live 30 minutes away, and it's going to be cold there too. And then I had some leftover granny square yarn, and so I made a hat.
You made a granny circle.
I did. Well, and I do the magic, I do the circle. And so there you go, and it covers my ears, which is, I added it. The pattern is Easy Peasy Beanie. It's a free pattern, and you can get anywhere from preemie up to large man's head.
And Sally's a dog walker, pet sitter, so she's gonna need that hat when she has to walk the dog.
Yeah, because tomorrow is gonna be really cold when I take Maverick out. Now, Wednesday, it may be either a 2-hour delay or e-learning day. So if it's e-learning, I don't have to go walking. But anyway, so those are my fully finishes. And yes, it's acrylic yarn, but it keeps the wind off my ears and it keeps it warm. And of course, you know, I got my hair.
And they're washable.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's not like if you use that real expensive yarn, you have to be real careful. When
especially if you put wool in it, because then if you wash it, then it felts up. And sometimes you want that effect. Like I made some handbags.
And it also shrinks.
But
so,
yeah.
you know.
So that's the only FFO that I have.
And neither one of us has a new start.
Not yet.
Or an FO.
Right.
So we're going to skip on down to WIPs. So speaking of our WIPs, if you want to know more about our WIPs, for instance, me
No, Jack, don't
constantly
do that. That's not
forgets
bad.
like what kind of fabric to say or whatever, or sometimes I even forget to say the designer, we have as a Google Doc these charts, one for Sally and one for Angie, so you can see what both of us are stitching, and anybody can open it. You don't have to have a special program or anything. You just click on it and the chart will magically appear.
Right, and I set it so that you don't have to ask permission. You just click it and boom, you're there.
And in my case, if you don't see something where the fabric is, like especially on the second page, it's because I have not figured out yet what the fabric was. It's mystery right now. So.
And I may have some blanks on that too. I'm not sure.
So those charts are available for you if you have any questions about any of the fabric threads, designers, names, official names. I will say though, on mine, I noticed that I didn't use the official name for my temperature stitch that I got from Stitching Mommy.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I did
I think they call it, I think she calls it Walk With Me. I just call it dog park, because that's what it is to me, is a dog park. So that does not have its official name, but you can find it easily on Stitching Mommy.
Yes, on her webpage. It's amazing how she does that stuff.
So anyway, that's what we have available.
Correct.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 WIPs.
I do too. I have 4.
That's good.
Because I pulled out my Sweet Summer last night, so I wanted to finish up something.
You want to start with temperature?
Yes.
Okay, let's
Go
start
ahead
with
and do that.
temperature.
All right, so Angie's doing the dog one, and I'm doing the cat one. Oh, and I can't. Hang on, I'll show you the pattern. Jack, you need it down, baby. Sorry, I don't have lap space for you.
He heard me clap, and that's why he's jumping out.
So here's what mine's going to look like. Well, obviously, this is a mock-up because my temperatures are not the same as
California.
Yeah, correct. And each Thursday, I suggested that we call it Temperature Thursday, and that's when we update for the week. So we'll do 7 days worth. And as you can tell, it's been cold.
So we both are using the same temperature thing,
Yes.
so our paws pretty much look alike. I
They're
think one
similar.
day there was just one color difference because she lives in Florence and I live in Hartsville, which is 45 minutes apart. So
And Florence is closer to the coast.
yeah, so sometimes it's a little off, but usually it's still the same color of toe or whatever.
Correct.
So I think one day we had just one color off. And
They're all
so
blue,
there's
though.
where we're, I just want to point something out. One of the things I learned on WIP Parade is people kept talking about the Jody Rice method of cross stitching. And I was like, what's the Jody Rice method? So she's Satsuma Street. And so they're going, what kind of special stitching does she do? And turns out what she does is she crosses all her, she stitches her threads all one way and then goes back and gets them on the way back. Well, that's just about what most people do, right?
Exactly, and there's a name for that.
She also does the every 10th stitch. She does a full stitch, which is what I do. I've been doing that, gosh, since I was 9 years old. My papa taught me that, and so did my grandma.
If I have a long border, yeah, that's what I do.
So I have right here, if I hold it up close, I have not finished the cross stitches on any of this. I've just done the one stitch because I've learned that if I make a mistake, it's a lot easier to frog where you just have the one stitch going through, not the whole X. So I've always done that until I make sure I haven't done a mistake. So you may call it the Jody Rice method, but a lot of us have been doing it for decades.
Yes.
So
I didn't realize that's what it was called.
All right. I think because of the Jingle Ball, people kept calling it the Jody Rice method.
Interesting.
I'm sitting there going, huh?
When did she copyright that? That's what I was wondering. All right. So the next project, you just want to alternate from that now?
Yep.
Okay. So this year in August, I will be 60. So I decided to start Heartstring samplery, His Eyes on the Sparrow. and I'm sure everybody's familiar with this. I know a lot of people are doing or have done consider the lilies, but I like the animals better than I did the flowers, and so I got this one. I'm using the DMCs, and Beth Twist calls for 1 strand over 2 on 28 count, but I wanted more color saturation. Hold on a second, I'm writing it down here. And so I'm doing 2 strands of DMC over 28 count. And my goal is to do a page every 2 weeks. But when I start stitching on this, I don't stop till I finish a page. So, and it takes me about 4 days to do a page. So I've got the first 2 pages done. And yes, I extended over to the next page if I can. Let me fold this a little bit better. But I don't go bottom because I'm going across the top, and then I'll do 1 row at a time.
And I just want to point something out. I have never noticed the colors before because everybody seems to want to do it like on 40 count or 56 count. And all I see are little tiny figures, like I'd seen the cow, I'd seen the peacock, and I saw the shapes and stuff. I knew the cow was goofy looking and the flamingo looked like someone twisted its neck.
Yeah.
Tried to break it.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, Sally's doing this on
28 count mushroom Lugana.
And so you can see the colors and how beautiful the color is. And I think it's just such a shame that when you do it on such a small count, you don't get to experience seeing the colors. So I'm just amazed because I thought it was ugly before.
Well, now
but now I'm amazed at all the color that's in it. So I appreciate Sally doing that on a color or on a size that people can see the color.
Well, and 28 counts my sweet spot. I like 32 also, but 28, it's just easy for me to.
Well, I like it.
I did have to rip out some of the goose, the green goose, because I was a thread off.
Yeah. And you can't really be too far off on those little motifs because there's lots of pages.
Well, and there is an error on the cow, but I fixed it so it looks okay.
Okay. There's lots of arrows on that cow, let me tell you.
Well, that cow, and I know those colors, they were overdyed. She called for Week Style Works and Classic Color Works. And no, she didn't do Classic. She did Week Style at Gentle Arts. And, dye lots change. I just did her DMC equivalents. Although in her pattern, she did leave out the DMC conversion for putty. So I looked at 1, 2, 3 Stitch, and the putty that they had, that dye lot has definitely changed because it's darker. So then I went to another website and got a lighter color.
I like to do what I call fair stitching. I like to identify what I'd like to have ready for the fair in October. I think it's important that we stitchers share to the public what's out there because a lot of them think of cross stitch as some old woman's, stitching that their great grandmothers used to do and stuff like that.
Mine didn't cross stitch. Mine tatted, crocheted, and knitted.
Yeah. And there's so many dynamic patterns and stuff out there now that I think if the younger generations see it, they become cross stitchers, and that's what's happened on Flosstube. Is that's how well we have so many young cross stitchers out there. I just love seeing
COVID
them.
COVID
helped a lot too.
It did, but
I think it wouldn't have helped as much if we hadn't had such great designers out there putting out a lot better stuff, frankly. So anyway, fair stitching for me, I decided I needed some help making me get them done by October. So the Soulful Stiycher does what's called the Year of WIPs. And you identify a minimum of 10 WIPs that you are going to get done by December 18th or something like that. And and it's closed now because you had to do it by January 18th. But I did mine by January 1st because I'd already figured out what my 10 were going to be. Here's my 10 that I want to have done for fair stitching. And I started out, I thought 14. I got 14 I want to do for the fair, and I thought, I better be careful with this. With Soulful Stiycher, if you get at least half of them done, you're eligible for a prize. Well, I don't care about the prize. I'd like to get all 10 of them done, but I'd be happy if I got 5 of them done too, because some of these are big for me. So I needed a little help beyond that, so I decided that I would adopt Jen the Caffeinated Crafter's temperature stitching, which she got from somebody else who got that from someone else. I don't know who the original person was. But I kind of follow what Jen the Caffeinated Crafter's doing. And mostly, at first I had my temperature stitches were just the same as my year of WIPs. But then I thought, there's other things I'd like to work on too. Like my most recent start, what if I start and then I need more days to work on it. I don't have it in temperature stitching. So I actually put recent start as one of the temperature stitches. And then I realized that I had a project that I never touched last year, Wilbur the Pig,
right,
by Teresa Kogut. And I'll go into that because you're going to see what I did on Wilbur. But there was a reason I didn't touch Wilbur, because he needed to go in timeout. But I put him in there just temporarily until I finish his left ear. And then I'll be happy to put him away for a while. But I also have flea market flowers in there, but I'm going to change that because, first of all, it hadn't been called but one day so far. But I'm just not feeling it. So I'm going to go back to one of my year WIPs with that one and change that up. But anyway, actually I have flea market flowers on my year WIPs. Oops. I better get, I can't take it off.
Nope.
I just realized that.
That might not be one of the 5 you finished.
Oh my gosh. I better work on it. Okay, and a lot of these year WIPs projects are things that I put them on there because I have a real problem trying to get them finished. Like January, month to month, it has snowmen and snowflakes. I hate snow.
Well, now I helped you out with
Sally
your snowmen.
did some snowmen for me, and I just have to do the word January, but then I got more snowmen and snowflakes to do.
Well, we could do buttons for the snowflakes, and then you wouldn't have to stitch them.
Oh yeah, because they're ecru on white, and anyway, and it's hard for me.
I thought they were blue on white.
I did a blue one, but some of them are ecru. Like the snowmen are ecru.
I know, yeah, because I stitched some of those.
And in July, I changed all the colors, and I don't like what I did, but I can't. I'm not frogging all that stuff, so I'm going to keep on going. But it stopped me, so I had to put on your WIPs to make me do it. So there's a lot on here that. Anyway, that's why I chose them, because maybe this will make me do it. So, the first one that I had was Polar Plunge. Now, I bought these in the needlework market year before last.
Something like that. They've been out for a while.
And they're really cute. They are. But I did the walrus with temperature stitching. That's the only way I got this temperature stitching done. And, got the walrus done. There's a lot of stitches in that walrus.
Well, yes. And,
the polar bear, I did that first. That was easier because, he just had his head and a couple of paws peeking over a snow cap, But this walrus is full body. And so I got him done. And now I think I can hopefully speed on and do the rest of it because it's not such intensive stitching. It's just little trees here and there and stuff like that. So if it weren't for the temperature stitching, I probably wouldn't have got as much done on this walrus so far. And on the year of WIPs I didn't put just the walrus. I put the walrus, the whale, and the narwhal, getting all 3 done as part of the series. So I'd get 3 of the series, because so far I just had the polar bear.
Correct.
So this year I want to get 3 of them done, which would only leave me with 2 more to do. So anyway, so that's my first one. And this is the pattern right here for Wally. As you can see, I don't do the ornament thing. I'll do the snowflake up there, but I'm not going to make it into an ornament. I don't understand it.
It's decorative.
I don't understand it. So
pulls them all together.
I like things to be, I'll leave the snowflake up there, but I'm not.
Are you going to do the trees?
I'm doing the trees and all that stuff. I'm just not doing the shape of the ornament around the snowflake.
Well,
I'm just not, and the holly. I'm not doing that.
It's like putting a bow on your wreath. That's what it is.
Well, I'm not doing it. I didn't do it on the polar bear, and I'm not going to do it on any of them. So anyway, I'll get this done now that the walrus is done, because the other stuff is, you know, easier stitching. So, okay, so that's in Wally the Walrus for now.
Okay, well, I picked 13 WIPs to work on and 12 new starts. And so I put them on a wheel. I did the WIP wheel, and then I did new starts. And in January, I spun it. And yes, I'm sticking to it. And sometimes in the past, people have said, yeah, I spun the wheel, didn't like when it came out, so I spun it again. Nope, I spun it. And Peacemaker Angel came up. And this is a pattern by Teresa Kogut. And I'm almost through with page 1. Let me get the pattern off. Oops. Since you last saw it, I got the rest of the halo done here, and I started working in her hair. And yes, that is confetti heavy, but it will be beautiful when I finish it. So I have almost half of a face. Then I lost my magnet, so I need to find it so Jack doesn't get it. There it is.
I think she's going to be beautiful when she's finished.
Yes, she is. But yeah, I'm working over here.
So this is what I do for my temperature stitching. I use this planner that, you need help getting it?
Nope, I got it.
That's good, because I probably couldn't help you.
I just needed
to write down the projected stitches for the upcoming week. And that's the top temperature written down. And if I get the stitching done for that day, I put a check mark beside it. So every time there was a 3, that was Wally the Walrus, because that's pull or plunge. And that was called twice, so that's how I was able to finish the walrus. And I would write in a Post-it note the number 3 and how many times in that week it was called. And so it was called once this week and once the second week, and not at all the third week. So I was able to stitch on Wally the Walrus twice and get him finished because of that. Otherwise, I might not have pulled him out. So that's how I do my temperature stitches. Now, and use my planner.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one I have is the one that I didn't want to work on. Wildewoman. He's not in the year of WIPs, but I hadn't worked on him for an entire year because I thought I was one row too far to the right for the ear. So I frogged 2/3 of the ear from the top 3rd row all the way down to the bottom. Frogged it. And then I found out I wasn't 1 stitch to the right. I was 1 stitch down.
You had to frog it anyway.
I still needed to frog it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had the ear almost done, and I still had some frogging to do, and I still have one more little part of frogging to do because I started that forehead part right there. But now you can kind of see that's a pig ear. And I restitched this bottom part, and I started doing more in the center and up here. And now I got to fill that whole doggone ear in.
Mm-hmm.
So Anyway, I'm going to keep Wilbur on there till his left ear is finished. And then I'm going to put him away for a while. 9 different shades of pink in this ear.
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Teresa Kogut. That's who the designer is.
Yes. Well, you saw that Peacemaker Angel. I mean, there's, I don't know how many colors of browns in her hair.
I mean, here's the thing is, my favorite book that my teacher ever read to the class was Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. She read it to us when I was in probably 4th grade. Here's a picture. You know the picture's here somewhere. When I saw this, even without seeing it was Wilbur, I knew that was the pig from Charlotte's Web. Okay? So I had to do him. I even want to do a little spider like someone had up there, so Charlotte will be in the frame. But this is done on 14 count Picture This Plus Legacy on the right side. Because I don't always do that. Sometimes I mess up and don't do the right side.
Legacy's not. Legacy's
It's Picture This
died
Plus.
without. It's died throughout.
Okay, well, here I thought I was special.
Well, you might have picked a different, you look at it and decide which side you like better.
That wooden needle minder you saw of South Carolina was from PnBmaking Memories.
Yeah.
And PnBmaking Memories is also making those Mill Hill magnetic
shirts,
frames.
yeah.
And right now you can't get them on their Etsy shop because they got so many orders. Bob had to stop it
I was wondering.
until he could catch up.
Yeah.
And then they'll be sold again. But also Barefoot Needlearts is doing some with their 3D printer. Amy's doing them. But I don't think she's doing the 5-inch one. I think she's only doing the 2x3.
It's about 3
whatever that small one is. And they're really a good price compared to what I bought, the big one from Wonderland. It's a lot better price.
Well, also they'll they've got a laser whatever, so they can put blessing or gift or words around it. Because Brenda the Handwork Maniac showed hers.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what they look like, since they're not on the Etsy shop, you can go to Brenda the Handwork Maniac.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
Which episode it was, but
I don't know. Several people are
might have been her WIP Parade.
talking about them. I can't remember the last person I heard, but I mean, they know Barefoot's making them. They know that PnBmaking Memories is making them. So you don't have to spend so much money getting them from the UK or from Yugoslavia or wherever.
The shipping is
now because they're made in America.
Yeah.
So.
South Carolina.
And even South Carolina, because PnBmaking Memories is from Florence, South Carolina.
They are.
So Pam and Bob, they've been in business for some time with their Etsy store, but the magnetic frames are new to their shop.
Yeah, they are. And they've got 3 sizes.
Yes, and I like their needle minders. But they have the corner gauges.
Yes, I've got a couple of those.
Lots of stuff that, and at a good price.
Oh, yeah. Very reasonable.
So good shipping too. So
yeah.
I'd highly recommend them and Barefoot.
Correct. Oh, let me put Barefoot on the list.
You on the last one?
Last WIP. Okay, and so my new start that was called was Sweet Summer by Tiny Models, and it was a 3-part stitch along. You initially could get the border first, and then the 3 parts. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And since it is cold here, I finished the sun. It is so. I was watching WIP Parades last night. And I finished it this morning. There's a cherry in the corner, and I know I got to backstitch the stem to attach it to cherries. And as you can see, I'm working on the border as I go because I don't necessarily like to just do all of the border first. That is not my exciting part. Although this border is fun because it has the little leaves and flowers and whatever else. Yeah, that's what they are. Yep, it's got little leaves and stuff. So the first panel, or first page, has the Volkswagen bus, and then the second one's got the beach hut, and the last one's got a basket of flowers with watermelon. So anyway, and it says Sweet Summer across the bottom. There you go. 32 count Lugana. All right, that's all my WIPs.
So anytime the projected temperature ended in a 9, it called out do they call this one? A Mario, or
Mario.
Super Mario?
I don't know.
I don't know that it
It
says.
doesn't really have a name, does it?
But it's Choco Coco Stitch, and it's basically Super Mario because he's getting bigger in that picture. And this I started in memoriam for my father, and I'd like to finish it before the fair this year. I've got the bottom half just about done, and the top half doesn't have as much stitching. The bottom half had a ton of stitching.
Because that wall.
Yeah, that wall was a doozy.
Although Mario is not small.
No, and I've been having, it's taken me a lot of stitching to get his outfit, his blue, just the blue part done, because it's a lot of.
Right, it's a lot of filling.
So, anyway, I'm going on Blueberry Fiber and a Whim, and I believe it's 14 count.
I think
is that
it
what
is.
it says on the back of that thing? I don't know.
Yep.
And the Super Mario, I believe, came from Math
It
Reminders.
says it on there.
Super Mario, Needle Minder.
Math Reminders or Gina's
Stitch and
Unique?
Sister Craft, actually.
Oh.
I did not know that. Okay. Stitch and Sister Craft, they also make good grime guards and other things like that. I bought things from them, and they have good stitching on, and they're from Etsy shop. Anyway, this is Super Mario, and this is what I have done. And I stopped, actually. You know, for projected temperatures, I really think the weatherman likes to put 69 and 59 and 49, you know, so that they cover their heinies, and I don't know. But there were a lot of nines.
Several of them have a 3-degree guarantee.
Yeah, so they had a lot of nines, so I got a lot of that blue done. And I could have done it one more day, but I stopped because I'm getting up to where the overalls aren't, the overall straps aren't stitched on there yet, and I'm not sure where the blue goes, so I'm going to finish outlining the black hand and overall and arm and stuff so that I know where the shirt and the overalls are.
You need me to move this?
Before I get there. So
Move this down for you?
yeah, I'm going to need to
We can do it now.
move it down. But like I said, there's just not much up here. I've got, like I said, I've got this, basically the shirt and the hand and his head. That's going to be the biggest part. And then this stuff is, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to be, it's a lot less stitching than the bottom half. So I really think I can get this done for the fair. And especially with putting it in the 9 for temperature stitching. Apparently that's a popular number. So I'll be getting this done pretty quickly if they keep that up. But I appreciated it because I do like working on this project. It makes me happy. And it takes me back to good memories. My dad played video games more than we kids did. He got it for us, but he's the one that got hooked. And he started us with Atari, and then he moved up to Nintendo. And we, you know, first we only did Super Mario, Donkey Kong, and Ms. Pac-Man. Then we got into Zelda. He did. I never did. He got into Zelda and every kind of Super Mario and every kind of Mario World. And I mean, Ms. Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, World, whatever. And I just basically played Super Mario like this. And sometimes Pac-Man. That's about all I ever did.
I like playing Mario and Luigi.
But he played until he couldn't, you know, had so much arthritis in his knuckles, he couldn't handle the joysticks anymore. And
Too many buttons for me.
he was younger at heart when it came to that stuff than any of us were, honestly. But, you know, it was a way, he got it as a way to, that was a Christmas gift for the family one year. Usually he got us a board game, but he got us Atari one year. And he just did stuff like that to make us play as a family and, you know, sit around a table together and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my brothers and I got an Atari together.
Yeah.
And I like Pac-Man, Breakout.
Oh, Breakout. I love Super
Frogger,
Breakout.
And then there was, because we had a Pong before that,
Yeah.
black and white. We had
Pong
to get
was great.
we had to get the black and white TV out of the attic to play that one. My grandmama gave that to my brothers. But the Atari, all three of us shared it. And then Pitfall. Pitfall was my favorite. Swinging across the alligators. And it's amazing how graphics have changed because that was so pixelated.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite.
I was one of those people that, like,
Space
when
Invaders.
Mario jumped, I jumped, you know, I pressed the jump, but I was jumping out of my seat too, you know, and my whole family would laugh at me, but it worked for me, you know. So it was, you know, a good memory to be stitching that as, you know, we went along.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my last WIP.
That was, yeah, I showed my forward. Next up is needles up.
Needles up.
And look, I put it in the right position. Needles up.
Okay.
All right. I have 2 to share.
Good. You go ahead and share yours.
Okay. Because I've been well, I just finished up watching the 5 seasons of the newer MacGyver, and there were some things I had forgotten about, and you know, and I'm seriously thinking about pulling out my DVDs and watching the original ones, but because those were my favorite. But the newer one was okay. They had character names that were similar, but
yeah, but I mean,
but
woman,
it wasn't.
Higgins was a woman, and you know.
Oh yeah, it was different, but I did like it. And
yeah,
and it was interesting because the lady that played Maddie DeHaan was on an episode of CSI, and the guy that played Jack had been on CSI also. So they had that was kind of cool. Anyway, so WIP parades, because you can stitch those, and depending on which ones you watch.
If you don't get enabled and sit there like this, you know.
Well, you know, because they usually say, this is what I'm stitching. I did watch one that was over 4 hours, but I didn't write her down because I got tired of it.
Well, I only write down the ones that I go,
yeah, that was it. That was it.
Kept
but
my attention.
I got a lot of stitching done during her. But and of course, I like accents and not
Me too.
Southern accents, because you know that's what I have. So I've caught one stitching Noni, and actually both of mine are Australian.
Stitching Noni.
Stitching Noni, and
how's that spelled?
Noni.
Okay.
And Australian. She started out with all of her Hades, her Heaven and Earth designs, but she also has a variety of non-coverage patterns too, such as long dog samplers. And you know, I've got one, and I started one, and I have patterns for a couple more, and a new one's come out, and it's got a blue-footed booby on it.
I know, and it's got a whale in it too.
Yes, I know. So I was thinking that might be our next.
Looking at that one,
maybe
but I
next
still need to
year.
restart fish and chips.
Well, and fish and chips hadn't been caught on my WIP yet, but
I don't have that on my year WIP, so it'll be stitched once this year, but it won't be a priority this year.
Right. Well, and then so she's got some Brenda Gervais cottage garden samplings, Mill Hills, magazine charts, mirabilias. So, you know, a variety. And I have a couple of Brenda Gervais. I hadn't started them yet. There's the one with the coffee cup, and I have the spoon to go with it that I got at Hobby Lobby. And then my second one, it popped up as a suggestion in our list down of notifications, and I watched her WIP parade last year, and her name is Peggy Still Stitching, and she does a variety of projects and designers, Tiny Modernist, and I do Tiny Modernist, and Witchy Stitcher. She really, she's done most of the trees for the tiered trays or the trees. They're trees, because she did the Poe one, and that Tiny Modernist put out, and she's working on the Alice in Wonderland one, and then she's done the Nutcracker, and she's got the Wizard of Oz to work on. And those were the two. I enjoyed it. Well, of course, you know, I like the accents, but they talk about all the
Where's Peggy Still Stitching from?
Australia.
Oh, both of them were.
Both of them. And so Peggy, you know, and they all talk about how the shipping is ridiculously expensive over there. Well, obviously, if we ordered anything from there, it'd be ridiculous to come over here. But it's nice that they support their local.
Speaking of
dyers.
Australia, this weekend is the Great Australia Stitching thing or whatever. It's like the Jingle Ball, but it's the Australian version, and all the Australian designers are on there.
I didn't know that.
And it's $10 Australian, which is actually $7 US.
Yeah, I knew it was less.
You can take classes, although a lot of the classes are taken, but they have a lot of the same things where you can meet the designers, you can go and stitch your rooms, you can meet other Australians, and a lot of people from all around the world are going to be participating in it. So that's this weekend. If you want to sign up, I'm sure if you look up Great Australian whatever, you'll find it somewhere on Facebook or YouTube or something. Yeah. So that's happening this weekend. All right, I have quite a few. I must have watched 25, 30 WIP parades. Like I said, no sports. But anyway, I have about 9 or 10 to share that were worth you watching, in my opinion. The first one was Wildewoman Crafts. Now,
I started watching hers.
she, in her background, she did all these birds, like Lindy Stitches and stuff like
she
that.
did. Yeah, I have all those patterns.
She did hexagon, well, they're circular finishes, but they're hexagon framed. And the way she did it in her background, it looks like a bee.
It does. It does.
Thing.
Yes, I did watch hers.
I just sat there and thought, how much math did she have to do to figure out how to work all those hexagons? Because it's obvious they're not all the same type of hexagons, but they're the same kind of size, and she makes it work in there somehow. And
I thought they were the same size.
I think some of them are quite different. So
Anyway,
I was fascinated by her background. But she likes, she's doing the Polar Plunge series as well. And she's like me, she's only done the Polar Bear Peak so far. She's got to do all the others. And she just now started the second one. I don't remember which one it was. I think she's into like Black Needle Society. She does like the Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't do that series.
That Black Needle Society put out.
Box.
And
sometimes
she does like the virtual Black Needle Society.
Well, yeah, with the Gilmore Girls, they
or
did the
whatever,
Hogwarts.
I think she does the Hogwarts ones too. I'm not sure.
She's in Georgia.
But she does like to stitch birds, and I like to see the birds that she stitches. And she does the North American Extinct series that Lindy Stitches does, and all that stuff. So
well, and she was working on the Audubon one too. That because that was if you did the monthly, if you signed up for the monthly birds, they were I can't remember the name of them. Then at the end, you got that pattern free. Now it's out; you can buy it. But so I have that pattern at the house because I did the Bird Crush Club. That's what it was called a few years ago.
Well, I enjoyed her WIP parade, and Willitstitch put out the first Flosstube, which is a WIP parade.
I watched him,
and he is from Pensacola, Florida. He plans to submit to the county fair, and I was so excited because he has a lot of good patterns. And one of them is a native proverb that I want to start that has the whales at the bottom of it by Emma Congdon and that cross stitch the earth pattern. He's doing that one. He's doing some full coverages. He's doing samplers. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's a very soft-spoken young man. Still has to work on his camera techniques and stuff like that.
This is backwards.
But because the stitching was backwards. His words were backwards, but it's okay. You know,
he'll figure it out.
We figure it out, and that's all that
we
needs to be
figured
said.
it out.
So I was really impressed for his first Flosstube. So I enjoyed his. Another one I enjoyed was the Nutty Nerdy Needle, Nutty, Nerdy Nerdy needle. Now she speaks very fast, even faster than Stitching with the Housewives' daughter's name. What's her name? Chelsea. And she has a foreign accent, so I had to back it up every once in a while and listen again to make sure I could understand what she was saying. But she's also doing a Mario piece, and she's doing a great piece on the Grumpy Cat.
Oh.
And I thought you need to watch that one to see that Grumpy Cat, because it was one of the best ones I've seen. Yep.
Add to our
You're going to have this sheet because I'm going to delete it off my phone when I'm done with this.
Perfect.
But she has a great variety of projects, and she is worth watching. Globetrotting Stitcher is not new to me.
I haven't watched in a while though.
And her husband do a Flosstube. He's the technical director, but he also has taken up cross stitching, and he's doing a really fantastic piece of Louis Armstrong by Stitching Jewels designs.
And
he's kind of a beginning cross stitcher, so to take this on is pretty much, and sometimes she has to help him. She frogs for him because
nice.
It might not get done if he has to do the frogging. But he's done some Sue Hillis pirate pieces.
Oh.
And he's working on Wonder Woman right now. They always show he has like
Action
over,
figures.
I think they said, I thought it was over 1,000 action figures.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I haven't watched them in a
He's
while.
boxes and boxes in the attic of these action figures, and he takes them out. He regularly rotates them, and they always focus on the ones that he's showing. And this last time, he had the action figures, and he had Christmas costumes for them. It was kind of funny. Batman and Robin decorated for Christmas. It was kind of funny.
I bet.
He's also, he pretty much stays at home during most of the trips because he goes with her sometimes, but they have dogs that have to be taken care of, and property and stuff like that. So, but she travels for
work,
some sort of food for Africa's association. Trying to help Africa keep from starving, and they pay for her to go to Rwanda and Kenya and places like that and see what can be done to help them farm, or whether they need to what they need to do to put money into that place so that there's less starvation, less AIDS, less everything. And she's doing full coverages, mirabilias, samplers. She does most of the stitching, most of the talking.
And she has she has a fancy lady going. She has categories.
Yes.
And when she finishes a fancy lady, she has something else to fill in. And when she finishes a small, she has another thing to fill in on that. And she rotates those around.
And the security at the airports in Africa are so much worse than America, because they do things like they'll confiscate her needles, her cross-stitch needles and stuff like that. She has to be real careful about what she takes because they are much higher security. So she has travel stitches, but then she's got to find a cross-stitch store somewhere to get some of the things she needs, because scissors and needles and stuff like that may be confiscated. So, and usually are. So that she has an interesting experience from that. And if she goes to a shop over there, she shares it, and it's really neat to see what all the type stitching they do and stuff like that. So it's really good. I like watching the Globetrotting Stitcher. But this last time, he's the technical director. This last time, he did this animated unicorn in place of her while she was talking, and the unicorn mouth was moving at the same time that her words were coming out, and the eyes were rolling, and I mean, it had facial expressions and everything. And it was like 20 minutes of the video, and I just sat there fascinated by the unicorn. I was laughing my head off at some of the things that he was kind of poking fun at her, I think, but it was pretty funny.
I haven't watched that yet, but I want to.
Lindy Stitches WIP Parade. First of all, that woman is a philosopher and an artist and an organizer, an administrator. She's so talented.
Very much so.
Let alone the hair she has. I'm just always fascinated by her hair.
Beautiful.
It's like,
it always looks
why
perfect.
can't my hair, look at my hair. I mean, I would like to have hair like that.
See,
I've never had hair. Even with the perm, I couldn't have hair like that. And it stays like that the whole show. I've been just sitting there waiting for it to, fall down and nope. It's like, she's just gorgeous. Anyway, she has what's called cough syrup pieces. And that's like the medicine you have to take. Like, Wilbur is my cough syrup piece now.
I gotcha.
So I laughed at that terminology, and I'm going to have to adopt it. I'm stealing it, Lindy. Sorry.
Stephanie Webb.
Steph, I'm stealing it. She reminded me of my love for the book Watership Down. She just started reading it.
It was on my list.
I taught it
a
to
long
my
time
7th
ago.
grade students.
Wow.
And I remember one year we were really playing, because it's a long book, and we were having, because of all the testing and stuff, we lost a lot of reading time of it. And my students were irate, thinking that we weren't going to be able to finish the book. So the last week of school, all we did was read that book, and by golly, it took us to the last day. And normally the last day I have a lot of students who miss, but that year my students came because they had to listen to the end of the book. They were really into Fiverr and Hazel, and they really loved that book. So now I've decided to find it. I'm gonna see if I can find it on an audiobook or something instead of reading the whole. I have a hard time reading books with my eyes and stuff. So
yeah, I love audio.
I'd like to see if I can.
I have a couple.
If I can find a good audio where
On
you know they
hold.
use expression for the rabbits and stuff, and I really want to do that. She always shares a poem and stuff like that, you know, and she shares stuff from her journal, thoughts she has.
Yeah.
I just am always amazed by her. So I have to stop talking about her, but I could go on. Small Town Stitches is Leanne, and that was recommended by Jen, the caffeinated crafter, as
I
well.
watched her WIP Parade last year.
She's an RN. She used to be an EMT. She's an RN now.
Right.
And her husband's a first responder. He's a firefighter and an EMT. And they really are cognizant with fires that are happening in California because, you know, they've always worked for the fire department. Until she became an RN, she worked for the fire department as the EMT on board. So she had the CB or whatever it is going in the background.
Yes, I did. I watched her WIP Parade this year.
Yeah. She has a lot of similar projects with Stitching by the Shore. She likes Stitching by the Shore, so she's adopted a lot of projects that Laura has done, is doing, as well as Jen, the caffeinated crafter, and Stitch by Tatiana. Now, she didn't mention Stitch by Tatiana. That's one of my favorites, and Stitch by Tatiana, she likes stitching brown projects, and she has a cigar box full coverage that is just basically all brown. And I thought, Stitch by Tatiana, I'm going to send that to her and see if she wants to do that, because she likes doing brown stuff like that. She also wears Love and Faith shirts. I have a lot of Love and Faith t-shirts, but she was wearing the same Love and Faith hoodie as I have in a t-shirt during her WIP Parade. And she's just very prolific stitcher. I don't know, how do you work as a nurse, be a mom, you know, and if you're the wife of a firefighter, you're basically the single mother a lot of times because the firefighter's not there, the dad's not there a lot of times. So how does she do that and do all the stitching that she gets done?
She does all that
don't
stitching
understand it.
to relax from the stress of everything else.
But anyway, I'm going to be watching her from now on. I really appreciate what she's doing. Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, I've watched her before, and I actually stopped watching her at one point because she just was not happy teaching, and I needed to be happy, and I couldn't watch her for a while. But I watched her. I watched her WIP Parade. She was not only smiling, she kept bursting into little song ditties.
I was like,
what? Woo! Retirement becomes her. She's just doing, I don't know. I would like to buy her project bags, but they're gone before I can get to them. Now, I like the project bags that are not vinyl, so she doesn't do too many of those. She likes to do vinyl much better than the other kind, but I don't like vinyl unless it's in a project keeper where the vinyl's inside.
Yeah.
I don't do vinyl. So anyway, I just had to bring that up because that blew my mind. Emma Xstitching is new for me. She's a single mother of a 6 and a 4-year-old in Southport in the UK. I have no idea where Southport is, and she just says Southport in the UK, so I guess she just assumes we know. I mean, UK, that could be Wales, that could be, I don't know. She has an accent, but I couldn't tell what it was. She is beautiful black work. 4 full coverage, samplers. She loves Little Crow. I wish I could stitch some Little Crow. I'd love to do that Deadly Aquarium. That's, and the Haunted Library was down my alley too.
That one was cool too.
I don't do Halloween, but that was basically literary based.
Yeah, it was, because it had Poe.
I would have done that, yeah. It had a lot of stuff that were from books, not from,
not just scary
Halloween.
Stuff. Yeah.
And she does a lot of start-alongs with friends, and let me just say, she starts along. She's got a lot of whips that she doesn't do much more than the start of like 50 to 200 stitches sometimes. She showed them. She showed a lot of whips that she has no plans to even work on this year, but she still had plenty of others that she's going to work on this year. She's got a lot of whips. Let me just say that. I mean, she didn't give a count, but it was a lot. Emma Xstitching, pretty good. And the last one I had planned to mention was Two Needles Pulling Thread, their WIP Parade, and their latest Flosstube. I love Missy and Kathy. I'm more like Kathy. Kathy she makes threads brighter if they're not bright. She doesn't like, a lot of prim colors most of the time. And she likes blue as well. While Missy, she'll take stuff and make them prim. Like she took, what was that? Primrose Cottage,
Christmas
Pole.
Oh yeah, Northington North Pole. That's right.
And it's so bright and pretty, and man, she made it
pastel.
Dusty.
I liked it though.
It was dusty, and that's fine. But I really like the bright one a lot better. But she did, that's what she does. She takes bright things and makes them prim. And she likes stitching with one thread, while Kathy likes stitching with two. And
I love two.
They both use magnifiers once they get up into the bigger,
higher counts.
I think when they were talking about magnifiers, I assumed they meant glasses, because they kept saying they use their magnifiers. And I don't know. I'm going to pose that a question next time, though, if they bring it up, because I want to know what they mean by magnifiers, because they kept bringing it up.
Yeah, and they may have one that, like a lamp that has the magnifier on it, like my Dazer lamp.
Yeah.
It has the magnifier.
They each thought they had 32 whips, but between putting one out for adoption and UFOing, they worked their way down to 30 by the end of the show.
Yeah, I did watch
it. Also stars two cats. There's Lily, and she's the most active cat, and Luna, who's very rarely seen, but she was seen on the latest on the WIP Parade. Amazingly enough. But Lily, this is what Lily likes to do. Lily walks along the shelf behind them, and she will meow sometimes at the most convenient spot. I mean, it makes both of them turn around and stare, because it's perfect, like she's putting a period on the end of a sentence, But mostly what Lily does is she walks right in front of the camera, puts her butt right into the camera, so you get a nice butt view of the cat. It's so hilarious. And I thought that was going to be it. But this morning, Jen the Caffeinated Crafter recommended the Pottymouth Stitcher, and she said, don't pay attention to her name. I'd avoided her because I don't like people who use a lot of foul language. And I thought that's what that meant. But basically, she says like jacked up or crap ton, words like that, which I don't consider offensive. That's just basically, that's just modern language, especially in south of the Mason-Dixon line area. That's where I'm from. She's from Ohio. She's living in Virginia, south of the Mason-Dixon line. And, that's the kind of humor. She's very sardonic, and I thought she was hilarious.
She is.
And I don't think she has a potty mouth, but she didn't want to censor her language, so she just named herself the Pottymouth Stitcher, so people wouldn't be offended by what she was doing. Because anybody who watches her show, they can't get offended if they already know it's called the Pottymouth Stitcher. Correct. So, anyway, I've never seen so many purple samplers in my life. I didn't know there were that many purple, and she's not changing it to purple. They're charted already purple, and I don't see that because like I said, a lot of stuff's done on 40 and 46 count, and you don't get to see the real color. It just looks like a blob to me. I can't tell what the color is. She has an Etsy store where she does,
get out of my bag.
you smelling your cats, scissor keeps and thread books, and she almost made me want to get that Philadelphia pattern again, you know, where they have the independent house.
Oh yes, that's a Leela Studio
Oh my
pattern.
gosh, but it's way too big for me.
It's huge.
I could never get it done, and it would frustrate me. So, but boy, she had started it, and I was like, oh,
Actually, you're
I
smelling
want
my
to do it.
snacks.
So,
I got peanuts and other snacks.
oh,
in
he
that
might
bag.
smell food in there too. Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of all the needles up, because that's the end of my WIP parades. Sports should start pretty soon. I hope that I can watch. I don't know. There might be some spring baseball for colleges, you know, because they
That's
start
true.
a little earlier.
Yeah.
So I might be able to get into some spring baseball pretty soon, because I'm running out of things to watch on YouTube because the WIP parades are running out.
Well, that's true.
So anyway, that's needles up.
Yes. Now you're doing your book review.
Okay. I started a reading tracker for my 60th birthday, and it was a 104 library book reading tracker, and I'm trying to see how long it takes me. Right now I'm about 52. I'm about halfway.
Oh,
And
that would fit the one I bought, because I bought the 52 one.
Anyway, this book is my latest, and it's Dog Tags by David Rosenfeld. And it's not really a series, even though I think every one of this guy's books has the same main character of Andy Carpenter, who's a lawyer that runs a dog shelter. He doesn't really want to be a lawyer, but he gets into these things, usually because a dog is involved. He gets into these major trials.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically a legal thriller. That's the category Goodreads puts it under, is legal thriller. But there's so much humor, and what I really like about it is this guy is so crazy about his girlfriend, but all he wants to do is have sex with her. So he's constantly trying to get her to have sex. He does a lot of flirting and, you know, sexual innuendos. And sometimes he gets it and sometimes he doesn't. Well, what I like is they head up to the bedroom, door shut, don't describe it. You know, there's no foul language. It's not a cozy mystery. It's a legal thriller. There's a lot of humor. There's dogs involved. There's, you know, usually he's saving a dog, which gets him involved in all these cases. What's really neat is he and the author and his wife actually do run a foundation to save dogs like he does in this book. And they saved 4,000 dogs, over 4,000 dogs. And they name it Tara Foundation. And his dog is a golden retriever in the book named Tara. So it's really neat. And like I said, it's not a series, because you could pick up any one of his books and you wouldn't have to, you know, read earlier books to know what's going on. It's not really a series. Every one of them just says a novel, and he does not list it as a series. So, but I try to read them in chronological order, because I'm anal that way. Dog Tags by David Rosenfeld. Very good series, very good author. I highly recommend him. So, where are we now?
Stash investment.
Okay.
I have one.
Me too.
Today is Inauguration Day, so we're going to do some patriotic stitching. Well, I don't have a lot of patriotic stitching, so I went on Crafty Bluebonnet's website yesterday, or Etsy store, or whatever it was, and ordered this one. And I'm going to start the flag in the middle. And I think I'm going to do it on 20 count sand, Ada, because it's easy to see, and I don't even need a hoop. I can stitch that in hand if I want to. I have a hoop though. That's all I got.
I only have one too. All those WIP parades, and the only person that enabled me was Accio WIP.
Yes, I remember that.
Kevin showed this, and I had never seen this before. Maybe I missed it in a way earlier Flosstube, but
I haven't seen it either.
I don't know. I'd never seen it before until this WIP parade. Excuse me. This is called Fishing Frogs. are they seeing it in the phone?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Fully, and then they completed it in a drawing.
Yeah, that'll depend on Sally how it's finished, frankly. But the reason I want to do it is my niece and her daughter love frogs, and I could see stitching this for them on a piece of blue fabric, so I wouldn't have to do so much of the background. And
that what it's called for?
It probably does call for blue. I don't know. I think he's throwing it on a brown though. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But that's the only one I got enabled to buy. I have ordered a couple of needle minders from Etsy, but I still don't have them. I don't know what's going on with the post office.
Yeah.
So I had a sister who sent me a Christmas gift. We're using FedEx, and I still don't have it yet. So it's way behind. I was supposed to get medicine today, and they sent me a text saying it was going to be tomorrow because they're overwhelmed. I don't know. I saw the FedEx truck go down the road right beside me. But,
the weather's affecting because we got that winter storm coming.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we now? Plans? Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, like I said earlier, I'm spinning the wheel, and since I won't be back until February, I went ahead and spun the wheel to determine what my WIP and my new start's going to be in February. And obviously, I'll continue with His Eyes on the Sparrow, and I'll probably continue with the other two WIPs too. They're now WIPs. The new start's now WIP. But Mad for Plaid. But I'm doing Beach Day first, rather than the seasonal stuff. And I'm just using DMCs, but it is on an 18 count Ada, and it's by Hands On Design. It's on my WIP list. And that's where I'm starting from. I got the waves in, and that's it. But it shouldn't take that long. Although it's on black Ada, and it is 18 count, so I do have to have good lighting so I can see the holes.
Okay, today's inauguration day.
Yeah.
And it's a patriotic day for me, inauguration day. I try to stitch something patriotic on patriotic days like President's Day or whatever each month has that might be patriotic. And I'm just going to stitch this on white with some red, white, and blue DMC that's called for. Now I got this pattern book. This comes out of a book called Proud to Be American, and it's designed by Jordan Nicole and Jamie Benson from Little Stitch Girl. And it was a needlework market year before last, and I bought this and haven't done a single one in here. I want to do this star. That's always fascinated me first, is doing that star. And here's a bigger picture of it. And I think it'll be a quick stitch.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm hoping it's going to be a quick stitch. Just depends on how well I count.
That's true. There are some spaces.
The only thing is, it does call for, I'm doing 14 count white, and it calls for 3865.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to find something besides that because it's the same color.
Well, 3865 is that
I'm thinking
beigey white.
Might try to find a silver
Scoot that over.
Metallic or something like that to do instead. I don't know.
Silver
White metallic, something.
Yeah, something with a sparkle.
Something with a sparkle, because the white's not going to show up. So that's the only problem I'm going to have. And that's in the points of 3 points of the 5.
Because I was looking at the pattern. I was trying to figure out. So that's like
it's right here.
Yeah, I got you.
And
you can barely see it on their pattern.
Yeah, and that's on brown.
Mm-hmm.
So
probably on
I got to change the white. But I'm going to go ahead and start from the center.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's my new start that I have planned for Inauguration Day. And I have no other new starts, but I'm following temperature stitching. So whatever the number is, I'll be stitching. Now, the way I do it, though, is I need to have, like, the ones, if something comes up and it's been used 3 times, that's the first one I'm going to stitch. That means I can get 3 strands on it. I do a strand for each time it's called.
Pretty good.
So whatever gets the most stitches, that's the first one I'm going to work on. And then sometimes if I've skipped one because it only had one, but the next week it has one, I'll go ahead and stitch it twice to make up for the not being done the week before and also get it done that week. But this week, I have not done any of the temperature stitches because I have had a stomach bug, and all I've basically been doing is clinging to my belly or the toilet. That's all I've been able to do. So no stitching involved because I was in too much pain. But today I got up and it's a miracle. It was gone.
Yay,
it was a miracle. I love it, love it, love it. So.
Well, and my new start, that was called, is my Carter's Grove Plantation. Many years ago, my father looked at the calendar and he said, Clemson has an open date this weekend. I'm going to Williamsburg, and anybody wants to go with me can. And coming back, we stopped it. Now it's an old pattern. It says paper, and it's hand drawn. So I'm gonna flash it back here.
Oh my gosh.
I'll make a copy of it and go from there. But anyway, Carter's Grove, and I want to remember that. So we went to the Carter's Grove Plantation, and I got the pattern.
Is that in Clemson?
No, it's in Williamsburg, outside of Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. Okay.
Yeah, and so colors.
DMC?
Oh yes, definitely. This was pre, and then just a piece of white. Ada.
The 14 count?
No, it's either 16 or 18.
Okay.
I'm not sure which. I think I wrote it. I'm pretty sure I wrote it in my. Well, no, I hadn't put this on my WIP list yet because I hadn't started it yet.
You have to start it first.
Right, but it'll go on by next week. But that's what I'll be stitching in February, along with all my others. Yeah. But I definitely am going to, put some dedicated time in
I thought I was going to be doing a Brooks Books new start this week, but because I was sick, I didn't get it done. So I'll get it done sometime this year and remember Brooke.
Yeah, she passed away last year.
Yeah, that's why I was going to get started earlier, but couldn't do it this week. So it'll be done later.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm working on I want to do the February Wordy Bird. I've got January too, but since January is almost
halfway over,
I just figured I might as well start February because then I might have a chance of getting it done before the end of February. And I'm looking for a birdhouse. I think that I'm going to, put it on my months are on a barn, and I think I want to put the Wordy Birds on a birdhouse. But I don't know if they're all going to be the same size. That's, We'll
look at February and January and see.
They said some of the patterns might not even be done yet. So.
Well, surely they'd be consistent with that, but.
I don't know. Sweet Wing Studio is the one doing them, and Heartland Quilts Stitch is where I got, that's the only way you could get the Wordy Bird patterns for like the first year. And then they'll be sold to everybody else. But, the other thing is that I've got a friend who is going to give me all her wordplay patterns. So when I get those, I'm going to start those for the monthly things too. Have no idea about how to finish those yet, but
little pillows are cute. Or you could do, or I could do a flat fold for you, and you could switch them out monthly.
I'll have to talk to my finisher about any of this stuff. The only outstanding finish I have is the turkey and the polar bear. But the polar bear, we're waiting on other polar plunges to do.
I'm going to do all those at one time.
The turkey is by itself.
Yeah, I haven't.
But it's a Thanksgiving thing. Just remember to bring it to
I will, yeah.
I got that on my list. I get credit for it.
I got it on my list of things to pull.
We have an EGA meeting tomorrow, and
more than likely, because the weather's not supposed to come in until late. It's not supposed to come until later that
If it's just going to be cold, we'll probably have a meeting, but if there's going to be any precipitation, we'll have to stay home. Most of us are my age or 10 or
That's right.
more years older.
I am the youngest member of our chapter.
Yeah, right now, Sally's the youngest. So
and I'm hitting a big number this year.
Newer members. Anyway, we're playing a bingo game, and we'll get more details about it. But basically,
I didn't bring it.
We'll use our fabric, threads, designer, technique, that kind of stuff. I don't know. All that source of
finishing,
the fabric,
whether
like
it's a pillow
Etsy or magazine, and the types of finishes we're going to do. And we get to make our own bingo board. And then when we get a bingo, the lady who's running it will get us a little prize or something. But anyway, we're going to play that game this year to try to get everybody stitching.
And since I admitted to having 32 whips, I won the prize, and I showed that in the last.
Too many.
Yeah.
I only had 19.
And
now
I did
had
that.
20.
I got that cute little stitch bag, but I showed that in the last Flosstube.
And I'm doing no more than 25 and 25, so I can't get up to past 25. But I also want to get some finishes done before
and I've gotten several finishes done off of that list.
Because I'm planning on starting the Wordy Bird, if and we're going to talk about this afterwards.
Right.
And the star. That's 2 more starts. So I'm going to be up to 22. I'm getting mighty close. I got to be careful. I need to get some finishes done so I can't get past 25.
Correct.
And by the end of the year, I want to go back to 20 or under, you know. But during the year, I can get up that far, but I got to get some finishes done to get down to like 20 or less by the end of the year. That's my plan.
My plan is to finish his Eyes on the Sparrow by the end of the year.
And you're already well on the way.
Well, yes, because I originally was going to do a page every 2 weeks, but it takes, like I said, it takes about 4 days to do a page because I just get into it and just do it. Because they're big, it's big blocks, and there are some color changes, but it's not.
I think if you were doing on a smaller count, it might be harder for you to do, honestly.
That's right.
So, I think it would take you more time.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, definitely smaller count because it's harder to see the holes. I mean, I 2-hand stitch.
Yeah. So I expect her to reach her goal, and I hope I'm going to meet mine. So anyway, that's all we've got.
That's it.
And we hope that you stay warm. And those of you in California, we pray that these fires get under control. And, you know, people talk about celebrities and they don't want to worry about people in LA and their fires because it's all celebrities. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's everybody in LA. And you know what? Those celebrities who have those million and billion dollar houses, they don't own them. They're going to be in debt for them. They're ruined. They're going to be in debt for all that property.
Hopefully they have insurance.
Well, it's a natural disaster.
Yeah, but you can get flood and fire. You can
get fire, but I'm not sure you can in California.
Probably not.
I'm amazed sometimes there's anything left in California with the amount of fires they have.
That and the mudslides and earthquakes and all that
Canada
stuff.
needs to send some of that snow to dump it on LA so that the fires will go out. And I wouldn't mind if the snow just went that way too.
Oh, I don't mind having a little bit.
No.
I don't want the 12, all that lake effect snow. That's why I live in the South and not in New York.
The reason I moved to South Carolina, no snow. It's a 4-letter word.
Well, the last time we had a bunch of snow was 1973, and I lived in Maine, and we had 21 inches. And it was great because we were on a farm, and we were right across from the highway, and we got to slide down that embankment.
I'll never forget the blizzard of 78, and then, oh my gosh, we were out with the cows, Jill and I, and gosh, I was 78. I was 14, 15 years old, and Jill was 1 year younger. And we couldn't find our way from the pasture to the house. And then when we got to the house, the back door was locked, and we were banging and kicking at the door, and our stepmother wouldn't let us in. So my sister Jill, who was only like 13, 14 years old, kicked the whole blessed door in.
Well, since your stepmama wouldn't let you, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we had no choice. We had to get in from the blizzard.
Yes.
It was a blizzard. I mean, it was a real blizzard. And it was our first and last blizzard. And I never wanted to give... It's made me hate snow ever since. And snow's so dangerous. And people here don't know how to drive in the sunshine, let alone the snow.
You're right about that.
So, anyway, without further ado, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.